Okay, everybody, to my delight, Jeff Cotton is back tonight after a great interview we had about a month ago, and everybody enjoyed it. So tonight's a special um, podcast. We're going to talk about his new record that he put out, The Fantasy of Reality, and fantastic work. I want to thank you for a copy of it that you sent me in the mail.
My
And
pleasure.
so, Jeff, I'm glad you came on all the way from Hawaii.
Yeah, it's good to be back with you, Dennis. That was
Thank
so
you.
much fun the last time. So hopefully this one will be very interesting as well.
I'm sure. So let's get started and talk about how you got the ideas for this record and how this all happened.
Boy, how did it happen? Well, it was many years that I wanted to do another album, and the time just came right, as I think we maybe discussed a little in the last interview. In
Right.
2005, that's when I decided, there's equipment that is decent. I like the sound, it's warm enough. And so that's when I put my studio together in Washington State and did some songs there,
Oh,
quite a
okay.
few songs. In fact, a lot of the basic tracks for the Fantasy of Reality was done in Washington.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
And then you did most of the backing tracks at your studio or extra tracks in Hawaii? Did that
So all of the basic tracks, most of the basic tracks were done in Washington. And when I came to Hawaii, back into Hawaii in 2018, April 1st it was, uh, we set up studio and I began working with Andre Delorier.
okay.
And he's a fantastic engineer and great equipment. So we did a lot of sweetening. We did most of the vocals over, and I added a lot of bottleneck and some background horns. In
Yeah.
some of the songs, you
Mm,
can notice I'm playing a straight soprano sax, and I do
mm.
harmony saxes behind the bass clarinet in a few of the pieces.
Everything's great. I mean, I love the bass guitar throughout. The
Oh,
bass.
good. That's me. And it was just not a lot of time spent on that because my focus, I guess, was more on the rest of the stuff, the guitar and the basic track.
Mm. Well, do
Yeah.
you want to go over some of the songs? Because I have some notes on the ones that I
Yeah.
really hit with me, really. So
Go for it.
let's go for Does It Work For You? I mean, this has got a great groove. I love the
Uh-huh.
bass on this. So, talk about that one a little bit.
So does it work for you? Yeah, that one I would say the Beefheart fans might enjoy the track somewhat more than a lot of the other songs.
Okay.
As you know, it goes here and there. It's in the lyrics. Randy Weimer, who was the drummer in Moo,
Okay.
did help me with some of the lyrics in the songs. So
Oh,
yeah, we did that together.
and
And
go
yeah,
ahead. Well, I just
all
want
the
to show
time.
this. Go
Oh
ahead. This
yeah,
is the
yeah,
lyric
yeah.
sheet inside. So, anyway,
Got it
go ahead.
all. So all the titles of all the songs came from me and a lot of the lyrics, but Randy did a lot of the words. If you want to go over them real quickly, we could do that.
Sure, sure. Let's go over that first song because it's really well done.
And that was put out also as a single, also when the album came out.
Okay.
But anyway, does it work for you? What we see, is it reality or is it really fantasy? That's why the title of the album is The Fantasy of Reality. Can you see spirit of reality? Can you see the spirit of reality, that which is behind?
Mm,
Can you see that true in any matter? Can we really see behind? Because we haven't really been taught to do that. We kind of see
right.
things, you kind of accept as it is. We
I
go on
agree.
without thinking about it. It says spirits, time, and space, fueling new resources. In other words, everything that is comes from a deeper level, which we do not see. It's what you don't see is the real, right?
Right.
Uh, Fueling new resources, creativity, responsibility. If you
Yeah.
notice how I wrote that responsibility, when I was a kid and up to probably 10 years ago, when I'd hear the word responsibility, usually I'd see my parents in my head, and I'm going, oh my God, I got responsibility. I got to take out the trash. I got to sweep my room.
Hey,
But this means the true responsibility is the ability to respond to anything that comes before you and at
mm,
you in an effective manner. That's what I meant by that. So anyway, responsibility, gifts of light,
mm.
spirit sources providing might. It all comes from the spiritual side, and I do believe that there are dark and light spirits. There is a war going on.
I know.
You know.
I agree.
Amen. Let's agree, you and me. Life's presence, a presence of spirit light. Everything right in the beginning came from light. Eternity, past, present, and future, giving sunshine, rain, fresh air, all to bless. In other words, obviously, God does not respect, he's not a respecter of men and persons. He gives us all the opportunity. We have fresh air. Well, except for now we have chemtrails,
Yes.
etc., and
Yes.
poison in our water. But initially, it's given to us whether we're good or bad, whether we're rascals or not. All to bless, freely giving his creation, loves living substance. And
I like
substance,
that.
that which substands, everything is built upon that. Does it work for you to give credit where credit is due?
I
How
like
many
that.
times I just take it for granted, it's here, da da da, and then I might have my personal troubles I'm dealing with, and I don't even think about, wow, I better give credit. I wouldn't even have breath right now if it wasn't for the Creator.
True.
And continuing in this moment to keep us going, you know? Giving credit where credit is due. Does it work for you? Seeing life's blessings anew. We can always change our attitude,
Mm.
thus our altitude, and the perspective which we see things. We don't have to be
Negative all
in
the
the
time, right?
dumps. Yeah, we can look at it a totally different way. There's a saying I love, and that is God will not change our thoughts. We cannot change our own hearts.
Mm.
But if we choose to change our thoughts, which we can, God will change our heart. If I look at him and I go, you know what? I'm grateful just to be alive. I don't care if I'm poor or what. And in the health I am so grateful for this opportunity. Well, my heart is in a better place.
Yes, I agree. That's true.
So, seeing life's blessings anew. And then it says, live, live. That was my emphasis on this. It's just like as I
Mm.
said that, I was seeing life sprouting from the ground and just in where they speed it up. We're just growing this up out of the ground like that,
Mm.
strong. Does it work for you? And it's an opportunity for all of us. Does it? Does it? Maybe it doesn't. I don't judge anyone because I'm not the judge. But
Yes.
that's basically the song. Does it work for you? Let's think about it.
Yeah. I tell you that people should listen to this song more and get something out of what you're trying to say because it's all true.
Cool.
Everything's a gift.
It is.
Every minute's a gift we're here on this planet.
And the talent, that's another thing I learned. God gives us all talents. And many people spend their life working a job to be able to do their talent at the end.
Right.
More better though, if we begin to do our talents when we know what they are,
I agree.
because we feel, it's elating. It's the way to go.
Well, it's nice that you were able to translate this to music and the lyrics definitely work with the song. It's got a good beat and good way to
Cool.
start the record.
Cool.
You
I
know,
did enjoy playing the bass on that too. It was a pretty different bass.
your bass, as I said, your bass throughout, it was really great. And of course, your slide guitar playing. I don't even have to say about that. That's always phenomenal when you play it. So the next
Thank
song
you. I love it.
I want to talk about
Mhm.
the song Ivy, which I really like.
Oh,
Great acoustic
the
vibe on
classical
that.
piece.
Yes. Talk more about that.
Cool. So every album I do from here on out will have at least one solo classical piece. The next album has a really beautiful one, and the third album as well. It's already done.
Hmm.
Ivy, uh, how the inspiration, I guess, it comes from above, and
Hmm.
it's at the time it's not specific. You're just overwhelmed by a feeling, right?
Of
And
course.
I hear what it is, and then I just learn to play it. But the reason I called it Ivy is it's dedicated to my late wife's mother.
Oh.
She was a Hawaiian, almost pretty close to full-blooded Hawaiian. And there's not many of them around anymore. And if you've ever heard the Hawaiian language, which she could speak, it's a beautiful, melodic, soft, warm language. And she was a very devout, spiritual Christian woman.
Hmm.
And if we were going through any problems, which there were plenty, relationships are relationships,
Of course.
she was always there and she'd get us on our knees and she would pray for us. There was never a hint of harshness or scolding. It was always in real love. And her name was Ivy Hali'imaile. That was her middle name.
That
So
is
I went, you
beautiful.
know what? This feels like Ivy. That's
It,
why I named it that.
it's got a beautiful sound and
And
you're
I don't know if I could even,
and did you write that in Washington State?
you like the sound of it.
Was that done in Washington State, the song?
Yes, I did.
And
Well, let me think here. Da,
just
da,
keep
da,
going.
da, 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 da. Yes, it was written. It
Okay.
was written in Washington
Hmm.
and recorded there. And then when we came here, Andre put put the treatment to it. I love the echo that he used on it. Very
Uh,
simple, but yet it embellished it.
it works. Now I really like the song Green Bamboo. I
Cool.
think it really is got a nice vibe to it. I think that's your hit song on the record. If you had one
I think you're a
song,
smart man.
I think the one song it
Yeah,
would
that'd be
really
the one that
work.
sticks out.
It's almost got a
Let me tell you a
Caribbean.
little
You
about Green Bamboo.
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. So I'll tell you about the inception of it, and then I'll tell you what I think of the song. So in 19, see, this would have been 1976. We moved from Maui. We had a little child at the time, a little girl. She was a year and a half old. Her name was Kameleo Kalani. That means
Hmm.
the song of the heavens. We moved to Kauai, a place called Hyena. Now that's
Hmm.
almost the end of the road on the North Shore. We lived for a year, I get goosebumps. For a year and a half, we lived on the property where South Pacific was filmed, that original
Oh,
movie.
that's something.
I'd wake up in the morning and I'd look, and right out the front sliding door was a pyramid. It's
Oh
called
my
Mount
gosh.
Makana.
Hmm.
Then listening, I'm laying in bed, to my left ear is a stream literally outside our door. I planted Malabar spinach all over the side of it, and so you could pick it and eat it, just bright green, soft spinach. And then the right ear is the ocean. We're 200
Oh my
yards or
gosh.
so from a beautiful white beach on Kauai with no people in those days.
Wow.
So I was sitting on the porch with my guitar, looking out at Mount Makana and this beautiful valley. And Green Bamboo came to me.
That
I
is
was
something.
exhilarated. You can tell by the melody, it's very up.
Yes,
And
yes, it
so
is.
that's where Green Bamboo came from.
Ah,
Now, here's an interesting thing about Green Bamboo. Just about everybody that I've talked to that's given me feedback about the album says that's the song. I can't get it out of my head. You
mm,
know, here's the deal. When we signed the record company with Madfish Records, we sent them the master tapes for the album. And after we did it, I went, ooh, I don't want Green Bamboo on the album. You know why?
no.
Because I had to use digital drums. Now I mixed them and I arranged them, but they're not quite the way I wanted it. So I told Ian at the last minute, I says, we are sending you another file later, but keep it off the album. If we get enough sales that we have a second pressing, we'll put the new one on it. But leave it off the album. And we even sent it to them with the list of the songs all in black and that in red, so he'd know not
Mm.
to put it on. Well, passed through and he put it on. And
Well,
I'm grateful that we did.
yeah, I am too. I mean, so you didn't know
Yeah.
that it was going to go on the record and it just happened to be on there?
Yeah. Well, of course, before I got a copy, he told me. I went, oh, Ian,
Oh
no.
boy.
And you know what I'm going to do? I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to re-record that song with very powerful drums and conga drums, up even a little faster tempo, so it's got energy. And I
Yes, that's
think that
smart.
would be a good thing to do.
That's a hit
So
song.
that's the story of Green Bamboo.
Wow, that is really something. Well, and then the other one I like,
Yeah.
the last song, Elvirus, is that what it's called?
Elvirus.
That's
Yep.
a great slide on that with your bass, and then you have great backing vocals on that. So,
Well, that's not Elvirus. Elvirus is just one guitar and one
oh, right,
voice.
right, yeah, that's
And
what I wanted to say. That's
that's what I
great,
meant.
great
Yeah.
playing on that.
And have you seen the video? There is a video online with me playing it
No,
because
I got
it
to see
came
that.
out before the album. Yeah, if you go on, just Google Jeff Cotton musician, it will come up. And the video was done in a beautiful part of Maui, out in nature. And we videoed me playing it and singing
Hmm.
it, but you don't see me singing it. I'm just playing it. So you see me doing the bottleneck.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, that came out first, and I was very happy with the sound of the acoustic guitar. It was
Yeah,
nice.
I love it. And then your
I
vocals
love the
really,
bottleneck blues.
oh, the blues, you really know how to play those blues, I'll tell you. It really comes
Well, I
through.
love the blues. You know, as I don't know if we talked about it before, but in the early days before I was in the Magic Band, we had blues in a bottle, and
Hmm.
we could do some really hot city blues.
Hmm.
But not until I got in Beefheart. And then it was Alex Knopfer, Alex St. Clair, and Jerry Handley, the bass player in those days.
Hmm.
That was when we did the first album, Mirror Man.
Okay.
So we were mostly Delta blues. And so I just fell in love with the Delta blues and I always wanted to get more into it. So that song came out. And if you notice, there's a song on the album called Heavy,
Yes.
and it's Delta blues.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great too.
it's funny. I've got a funny voice on that one.
I like it because it kind of mixes in really well with your guitar. It really blends
Oh,
well.
cool.
So then we go to side B. I want to talk about a couple of those songs. I like the Gentle Earth. Beautiful song.
This gentle earth.
So talk
Yeah,
about the
that was one
lyrics
of
to
my
that.
favorites on the album.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
And
well, let me get them because
I love
I
this
can't
one.
remember a word until I look at it. This gentle earth. Ah, so yeah, in this gentle earth, your tales resound in this gentle earth. You stole the sound singing of rebirth. If you want me to interpret any of this, please ask, because
Okay.
I'll tell you what it means,
Sure.
unless you got it.
No, go ahead.
So, right off there, your tales resound. In other words, there is a spirit of good and there's a spirit of darkness here. There's that one. And the dark side, his tales resound in this earth to the point that just about everything we see has been influenced by the dark side. You stole the sound singing of rebirth. You know, if you start talking about rebirth, you're not living in the present moment, and it's a good damn excuse to give up your responsibilities and say, well, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. No, I believe all power is in this. All power for change is in this very moment. Nowhere else. It is not in the future. It is not in the past. It's this very moment. And we haven't been taught to live in the present, right?
No. That's true. It's all about the now.
So,
you know, that's it.
Okay, so it is. It truly is. Your tales have spun the reason that we live. Inside betrayal. This is no way to live. Do you really think there's any hope anywhere without love? Because we know there isn't. And what about the spirits swell? I'm sure you've noticed, and we're all part of it.
Yes, we are.
We're in a part of history that has never been before. And the power and the energy of the Spirit of God is working on this planet. Creativity, truth, the darkness is being unveiled and stripped. There's never been a time like this. And that's basically what I'm talking about there. Do you really think there's any hope anywhere without love? And what about the spirit's swell? You are the one who created this rage. You know, I talk about the fact there is a devil, there is a being, and he created rage. Our time began living on this stage. In other words, we came in way down the line. We came in with parents that were already programmed. We got our DNA from them. We came in, the first thing we saw, the first thing we heard was the spin of the world.
Right.
And so that's what it's speaking of.
Oh, okay.
Lives winding down as each day goes on. It's like if you don't have the hope, it's just you're slowly winding down. As they say in science, you know, the body begins to die or what, in the 20s or something like that.
Right.
So,
I agree with that.
What a way to live.
Hmm.
True love's the crown. That is a crown. Let's see. True love's the crown, and love rights the wrong. Nothing's going to right the wrong except love.
Yeah.
Not telling somebody they're wrong, or truth does not come from the mind, it comes from the heart. How I see it visually is not the head rules the heart. That's occultism. Use your willpower over your being and your emotions and subdue your passions and discipline yourself. No, I see the heart, and then I see within the heart the head. The head should follow the heart. The heart dictates truth and love and life, and the head needs to translate that to the body and from there out to others. That's what I'm speaking of there. See, where are we at now?
That is really
love's the crown and love rights the wrong. Do you really think this is the place we'd rather be? And I don't mean necessarily just the place on the earth, but the space mentally and emotionally. Do you really think that's where we'd rather be? That here's the power keeping peace away. That is what keeps peace away. In another song in here, I say, love is truth. Peace is proof.
Oh, that
And that's
really
in, by the
works.
way, that's in, is that Mother Earth Needs Healing, I think. But anyway, so that's the power keeping peace away in this gentle earth. And when I say that, I say gentle earth tongue in cheek, obviously,
Hmm,
because our world is not gentle.
that's for sure.
Our world is not gentle. Do you really think there's any hope anywhere without love? Do you really think this is the place we'd rather be in this gentle earth?
I
That's
wish
it.
I could say it was more gentle, but
I love the
uh,
guitar solo in that one.
that's what I was
Yeah,
just gonna say. Really nice, and you really nailed
I
it
had
with
fun with
that.
that.
Yeah, I mean that is just great way to start side B on your record. Now
Yeah, cool.
the other song I like, another one is All Things New. That is a beautiful song.
Oh, the love song.
Yes.
The love song.
Where did that where
I
did
don't
that
see it.
idea come from?
Oh, love makes all things new. Okay. In let's see, when was it? 19 after we lived on where I lived on Kauai when I wrote Green Bamboo, we got a call uh, to uh, to do some medical missionary work and to travel. And we went to the islands. We went to Canada. We went up to Alberta, Canada. Did a health fair up there. Uh, then we went to California, and for a brief period of time, I bought a 26-foot travel trailer and a nice big powerful Ford pickup to pull the thing. My
Okay.
daughter was only about a year and a half, almost 2 years old now. And we moved to the Mojave Desert where, of course, Beefheart, Zappa, and all of us ended up,
All right.
at one point in time. So I moved back to the desert with my family. And we were
Oh my
out
gosh.
out in the bush, man. I mean, out in the bush,
That must have been
tumbleweeds everywhere.
it must
The
have been
winds had
hot
come
there
through
too,
there, and the
right?
tumbleweeds had hit the fence.
Ugh.
Oh, very hot. Not like Arizona, not 120 because Mojave Desert's the high desert. So we would
Okay.
actually even get snow in the winter sometimes,
Hmm.
which was trippy. But
Wow.
anyway, we were out here in the travel trailer, way out, living on some friend's property. And my then wife at the time wasn't happy. She did not want to be there.
Okay.
She just didn't want to be there. And we had a little child, and I'm going, this is where we are. I don't know what to say. So she left and took my daughter and came back to Maui.
Oh wow.
So, uh,
That's
so I wrote this song. That's what inspired me to write Love Makes All Things New. And also, in the Bible, it talks about that, all things being made new. And it is love that makes all things new. God is love. I mean, let's
I
face it.
agree. Yes,
If
it's
things are going
true.
to be made new, that's the only way.
Well,
So, yeah, that's the inspiration behind that.
that is a beautiful song. That's one of the most beautiful songs on the record, I feel. That
Cool. Yeah.
really hit that really hit between in the heart there, that song. It really did.
I
And
like I like progressions. I don't, not just the standard three chord. And like I've said before, the song writes itself. And all I do is just try to get it down. And and then also the lyrics, of course, basically are given to me, or the idea, and then you have to fine tune which word you're going to use. But yeah, love makes all things new.
well, as an artist, you're the messenger for music that comes through.
That's true.
Basically, that's what it is. That's how it works in
Yeah, you don't
this.
take credit for it.
No,
You don't,
we
you
don't.
never take credit for it. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk also about the song The Space Between Us All.
Oh, that's
Now, I
great.
like this song too. This is another one.
Yeah, when the space between us all becomes a bridge, I long for then and I always will. Yeah,
That's a good line.
that originally came to me back in the days of Moo when we were living in California in Woodland Hills.
Oh, okay.
The progression, when the space between us all becomes a bridge, that part came to me then. And later, the rest of the movement did. Yeah. And as you know, I play horn in it. I think I'm playing bass clarinet in it. I think so.
It was a good one to end the side with.
Mhm.
It really really worked on that one.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed that too.
Now I like on the thread also. That's another instrumental that's
Mhm.
really unique.
That is, to me, that is the closest to what we did in the Magic Band.
I was going to say that. Yep, it has that Beefheart vibe to it.
Yeah. Of course, it's a little tamer. If I was trying to compare it to something on Trout Mask, it would be the one that we did outside. Dun, 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 dun. What was the name of that?
Oh,
It was twice on the album. Hair Pie.
right,
Hair
right.
Pie.
Now to listen to that back.
Yeah, I if I would have been able, and I'm sure a lot of the other guys too, because I'm not the only creative person, wasn't in those days. It's just we weren't allowed to use our creativity except in a very closed manner on the specific movements we're playing. But if I was to have written something, that's what I would have written, that type of thing. Something more airy, as I may have spoken to you about before, because I grew up around aircraft and flying. Music to me needs to be weightless. It needs to be able to fly, to get off the ground. It can't take effort. It's like,
Mm, right,
and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Being a drummer, right?
right.
Um, I've played with drummers where I had to pull them along, and it's like you never get off the ground. It's like an airplane with just not enough power, too much fuel, too heavy to get off the ground. And so this was weightless. This is what I like. I like it to be able to soar on its own. You can stop playing and it still soars, you know.
Yeah, that's what's nice about it. I
Anyway,
mean,
that's
the Beefheart stuff, that record was so raw, but this has got, you're right, there's not that heaviness. It's light, but still really powerful. You didn't lose any of your
cool.
playing, your knack of playing those blues and slide on this record. It comes through. So then there
I
was
want to hear
another
what you
one I
say.
liked on,
Piece of Oblivion.
yes, Oblivion. Yep.
Let me find it and let me
That's
look at
got
the words. Aha.
It's got acoustic guitar on
Yeah.
it, vocals.
Yeah. Acoustic guitar, finger pick. Um, soprano, straight soprano sax is what I used in the solo.
Oh, okay.
The little straight one, like we bought for Don. John and I bought for Don Belit when we first time we went to Europe. So yeah, and then you'll notice in the solo, if you listen to it again, late in the solo, all of a sudden, the bottleneck guitars come in, and I'm playing harmony bottleneck guitars. I like being instead of being hard edged. I mean, there's a place for that, but I like having almost a cushion. It's almost like on a cloud. You have two harmony guitars together in bottleneck, so you don't have to go from this note to this half tone. You can actually like that, and I like that where you're almost in out of key, but you're not. It's just almost an oscillation going on behind the
Mm.
lead guitar, which was bottleneck. So from the horn solo to the guitar, there's two harmony bottlenecks accompanying the lead bottleneck on it.
And now you did all the backing vocals on the record too, all the harmonies are you're
Yeah,
playing?
yeah,
Because that's an art in itself, being able to do backing vocals just right, just under the lead, but still in the mix.
yeah, yeah. I always, I loved singing harmony. I did that before I ever played a horn or ever played a guitar. As I think I
Oh,
probably mentioned, I did that with my mom and her girlfriend, singing harmony to all those old songs, the Banana Boat song and all those type of things. So I love harmony. It's a challenge sometimes to find harmonies to some of my melodies because some of the melodies are not what you would call stock melodies.
right. Not easy to do. You have to have a
No,
certain skill for that, I feel. That's like
you
even
got to be
being a,
patient.
exactly. And that's like being a drummer. You either have the feel of rhythm or you don't. Even any
You
musician.
bet.
I played with
You bet.
musicians who could not get a beat down or couldn't feel the rhythm. I don't, and then everything else doesn't
Oh,
happen.
it's so frustrating, isn't it?
It is.
Because you can't let go.
No.
Yeah,
And then there's just some people you just feel so comfortable because you know that they could keep the rhythm and the song keeps going.
that's right. I remember back in the days when I just bringing up the band Move for the mere fact that we did so much playing out, gigging. We did so much gigging that it became second nature. And I know you know that feeling when you're in the flow. I remember times being on stage where we'd start a song, some straight song, and do the first verse, and from there we're gone, ad-libbing. And you get so much in the flow, I could
Yeah.
see myself up above myself playing, not even having to be aware of what you're doing on your drums or your guitar.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's the place to be.
it is. I mean, we as musicians, we not many people can feel that, especially with a band when everything works. You're right. It's like the band takes on another power. You're almost like you're
Yep.
participating, but yet you're the sum of the whole, and it's just an amazing feeling.
It
And
is. The whole is much greater than the sum of the parts.
we've been blessed to have that feeling in our lives.
It is. It is a blessing to be able to do that, to let go. And and I remember doing that and thinking other things while playing because you're not having to be conscious. When you're learning a song, you have to be conscious of what you're doing, the notes, right? You have to be objective.
Right.
But once you learn it, it's like riding a bike. You can become subjective, so you can be putting together a math problem or writing a book while you're on your bicycle, and you don't have to be concerned with pedaling and being in balance, right?
Of course.
And that's the
Now,
way a musician can
should
be.
be. Now, did that happen with Trout Mask that you guys knew those songs so well that you could just think of something else and they would just still be playing it so great?
I don't know if could think of something else, but it was
Yeah.
so natural, so second nature. Like I said, it was going in. I don't ever remember having three takes on any of those songs. Most of them the first time through, some two times, but it's just second nature.
Hmm.
It's just second nature.
Well, I
Yeah.
another song I like, which I feel was a real healing song, was Mother Earth Needs.
Oh,
I beautiful
Mother
song.
Earth needs healing.
Can we hear the lyrics to this? Because this is such a
Yeah,
feel
that's a
good
good one.
song, and you did a great job with the drum machine on that. I noticed.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed that.
Cool. Well,
So
thank you for
anyway,
that. I loved arranging the digital drums, but the only drawback, of course, is because it was on my console, I couldn't take and isolate the toms and tune them. So
oh
everything is the way it is. And
yeah,
so it's kind of ricky ticky. That's why I'm so excited about album number two, because it has Randy and John French.
oh, that's going to be
But anyway,
great. Okay,
it is. I can't wait. So Mother Earth needs healing. Know that Mother Earth needs healing as our time keeps gently stealing. As we know, all of a sudden I'm 77. Time kind of stoled away. Didn't realize it. Serving love in legal notice. Lives in bloom just like the lotus. There's no time to delay. There's only this moment. Because there's no law like today. In other words, law is there. First off, it's there for safety, true law. It's just like on this plane, we have gravity.
Right.
Gravity is a law. So today, this moment is a law. And if we're not present in this moment, we miss it. And we can't get outside of it as long as we're on this plane. So that's what that's speaking to. There's no law like today. Life speaks roundly all the time. Everything that is living is a cell at its basis, or even smaller, and it's round. As soon as something dies, it becomes crystal and hard-edged. Neglecting leaves paths undefined. Love our brothers when you see them. Listen, forgive. Love has freed men. Only love can free us. There's no need to stay where thieves hold us prey. Daylight come, pray light come. Daylight come to you and me. Pray light come, daylight come. Pure light come to you and me. It's almost a prayer.
Yeah, it does sound like
You want
it.
pure light. Because there's two kinds of light. There's dark light. Lucifer himself was light. He was, if you ever studied what he did, and he went through the universe, he was the heralding angel. He was beautiful. All the lights of the rainbow shone through him, etc. So there's that kind of light, and then there's the light of God.
Right.
And that's why I was emphasizing that there. Love is truth. Peace is proof. There it is.
That
If you
is,
have peace, yeah.
that's a healing song. It really is. I mean, if for anybody that digs deep into the lyrics and you're instrumental on this, it's well done, Jeff.
Mahalo, mahalo.
Well, then you have, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Keep going.
No. Life's source comes to you and me. Love's author shines. The author of love, God. Love's author shines. Our souls entwine. They do. When we love unconditionally, our souls are one. They entwine. But if I start thinking I know something that you need to know, using my head, we're going to end up in a battle. So it always has to go back to love. Our souls entwine. In giving, find what life can be. Only in giving. Know that Mother Earth needs healing, as our time is gently stealing. See life language, overtaking. See our new lives in the making. Life has its own language, and we're learning what that language is. It's more of an internal, personal thing to us, how we interpret life, how it speaks to us. See our new lives in the making. There's no time to delay, because there's no law like today. Know that Mother Earth needs healing, as our time is gently stealing. Know that Mother Earth is healing. As we heal, Mother Earth will heal, because God gave us this earth and everything on it and said, subdue it and use it. It's for you. It's a blessing. Not to put chemtrails in the air and HARP to make storms and energy weapons to destroy cities, right?
Right. And we got to get away from this fear factor. Everybody lives in such fear. It's terrible.
That is the big truth right there. That's what the enemy uses above all things, is fear.
Yeah.
Let me dig this. This is a definition of fear, and it goes by the letters F, E,
Okay.
Fear is false evidence appearing real.
Yes,
Fear.
that's
It doesn't
good.
really exist, but it petrifies a
It
person.
does.
You don't do anything. You won't do anything. You hold your breath in all of a sudden. The life force. That's right. So that's the greatest enemy is fear. We need faith and we need to trust.
And there's too much television, social media. People are getting just so brainwashed by everything. Instead of just going outside a little bit, walking among trees,
Oh,
nature, and getting away from all this, panic that can set in easily with people.
so true. And there's AI right there,
Oh,
artificial
yeah.
intelligence. Remember in the beginning, before the fall, Lucifer said, I will set my kingdom above God's. I will be as or like God. AI is trying to be like God, like humanity, like they
I,
say in 5 years, the
I
singularity could be
agree.
closer. In 5 years, it could be a lot more intelligent than us. And because it came from through man and it's being influenced from the levels of spirit that we talk about, it isn't going to be a good picture.
Well, I think with, these companies spending billions of dollars on this
Yeah,
to increase the technology, I wouldn't doubt if it's here in 3 years,
it,
and it's scary.
it is
But
very
but
scary.
but we are the ones to stop it ourselves.
That's true. That's true. If we are, and we can, and I believe we will. I do believe we will.
I would love to see a big switch, like when your power goes out in your house, or a big switch to turn things on and off. I would love the whole world to just turn off for a second, cease all this electronics to exist, come back on again, and then we don't have anything for a while, and see what people will do.
You bet. I'll bet you a lot of people would freak out, but I'll
Oh,
bet that
yeah.
eventually people will get back to the real. Like you're saying, these days you go out to a restaurant, um, couples, even older couples, they're sitting there on their phones. They're not communicating. There's no
Nope.
communication. Used to be you go out on your porch and you hear kids playing.
Right.
And they were healthy because they were getting exercise. Now it's the opposite. And that's all by design. It's not just, oh, it just happened. The NGOs, the big corporations,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they are coming down as we know. They're being brought down. I believe this is the time of revelation where we need to know what has been done, perpetrated against us as human beings, before we will know how to get out of it or what God has prepared for us.
Exactly.
If we think we're already in roses, everything's cool, living the way we are, no, it's not that way
Yeah.
because we
Well,
were born into it.
well, I think, we have so many ways to communicate, but we communicate less. We're communicating through words, through a phone. You know,
Right.
I'm the old school where we used to call people on the phone, talk. Now nobody really wants to talk on the phone much. It's all text.
That's why your program is so popular because there are people like us that still want to connect. It's about
Exactly.
connection, right? It really is about connection.
It is. It is. So let's continue on. I mean, we've
Sure.
got a couple really tie-in songs here. You have Together, Hear the Word, It Would Take an Angel. These seem to all tie in
Mhm.
together on this last side of your record. So it really talk about
Mhm.
that a little bit, how you arrange those songs to make this, a really good ending to the whole record.
Honestly, all I did is sit down one day and I stopped and I prayed and I said, I need wisdom how to do this. And I just started putting them there, putting one there. And that the first time it came out, this is how it came out.
Hmm.
That's all I can say. Clean in nature stream. I thought
Yes,
was a great ending for
it
it.
is.
Yeah.
Your solo work on guitar is really good on that.
You like that? I'm giving a nod when I play that guitar solo. I don't know how many people can see it that way because sometimes my thinking is a little bit abstract. But Carlos Santana, I was giving him a nod to some extent on
Hmm.
that. Although this one, as you know, it goes through several keys. It doesn't just stay in one key in the solo. It actually goes somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way to end the record.
yeah.
What a really, it's really a really well designed. I love the cover. Had, how'd you come up with the cover for the record?
Andre and I, my engineer,
There you
he's
go.
audio and
There you
visual.
go.
He helped with that. So
Okay.
if you look, what I was trying to say here is the fantasy of reality. There is fantasy and there's reality happening. It's just that there's an overlay of fantasy over reality in this world to the point that people generally do not see the reality. So the bottom half of the album there is a city. That's
Yes, I see that.
actually
Yeah,
that's
I see
Japan.
that. Oh,
Yep.
Japan. Okay.
And so to me, that's kind of like the fantasy. You go out in the street in the city and you see nothing that was created by the creator. You see something created by man, and if you're around it long enough, you kind of lose your way. And so the top half, as you see, is the beauty that God created. You'll see a stairway going
Oh,
up,
yeah. See that? There's a stairway there. I don't know if everybody
and
could
then
see it
above it
out
is an
there.
angel.
Right there.
Yep.
Okay.
And what I did an interview, and the interviewer really saw something I didn't even realize at the time. He says it's almost like that is the neck of your guitar, and you're playing your way up to heaven.
Oh,
That could be
yeah.
frets.
I see that. That is something. I
Yeah,
never would have thought of that, but you're right. He's right.
yeah. So the fantasy of reality. And what I also originally meant by that was if you take 20 people and you set them down and say, you show me what is fantasy to you, and now show me what is reality to you. There's going to be a big divergence between all those people of what that is because of where they're coming from,
Right.
what aspect,
I
what
agree.
attitude, altitude, perspective they have. And then later I realized it even has more to do with the fact that there is a spin, as I say in one of the songs that we went through the lyrics, there's a spin out there, and it's been there for thousands of years. And it is a fantasy, but it's also like what's the word for it? Um, it's like in cartoons, you've seen it where all of a sudden this haze comes over the person and it's a trance. There's another word for it. You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. Okay.
That's the fantasy. It's the spin that's been put on things.
Hmm.
And it has to do with our thought life, our visual life. The thought that, oh, we're doing pretty good. Things aren't so bad.
Yeah.
If we had any idea what God intended for us and which is available to us right now, it blow our minds. I've had my mind blown a lot of times, and I'm sure
No.
you have too.
Well,
So anyway, yeah,
it's just the way it is. It's reality. Unfortunately, we got to change. We got to stop being so mean, nasty, live in fear.
yes,
We've got to be talking about love.
you bet. It's
That's the
like
only solution to
it.
this.
I have never seen it like this, where you say the word politics and you say Democrat and Republican, and people want to fight. And I'm going, you know what? What happened to free speech? What happened to dialogue? What happened
Yeah.
to all of that? Well, yeah,
Well,
that's where it is right now.
people lose friends over this stupid stuff. You know,
Families.
the cameras are off and they're probably all friends. You never know. They
Yeah,
shut the
exactly.
cameras off. Hey, let's go for a drink. Wasn't that good? You
Yeah.
know, that's the
Well,
craziness.
a lot of people are getting paid for their perspective, and if
I
you can
believe
be
that.
bought, a person that can be bought, and that's unfortunate. We really need authenticity again. and simplicity.
I would hope we see it, Jeff, in our lifetime because
Yeah,
it's really needed. So let's talk about, I'm excited about here future records now. You did a
yeah,
record you're doing with John and Randy.
yeah. So the second album, I believe, is going to be called The Roaring Twenties, because if there's ever been a Roaring Twenties, even roaring louder than the 1920s, it's the 2020s. And so that'll be the name of it. And the songs are, like I said, they're finished. All I need is the drums completed and remixed in. And I know you're gonna like it because it's very powerful instrumentally and
Mm,
lyrically. It's right to the point of what we're going through politically, spiritually. It talks about the fact that this is the time of the revelation, that
mm,
all darkness is being called out and is going to be put down. It is going to go. We are going to have a time of peace and prosperity. I truly believe that.
mm.
Uh, it won't last forever. I
I
mean,
know.
I'm a avid believer and follower of the Bible, and there will come a time when we lose that. And unfortunately, I think it will be AI because they talk about
I do
having
too. I do
in the
too.
forehead and in the hand. Well, they're
Yes.
chipping already.
Well,
So
what's
yeah,
really wild is that once they put that chip in your head, a whole false reality can occur.
and it will.
Everything,
Yeah,
touch,
yeah,
sense, everything. All of a sudden, you're in an artificial reality.
that's
That's
right.
scary. That's scary.
And then if you don't do what the powers say, the powers that be, all they do is flip a switch and you just fall over.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, look at the COVID, the whole thing. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
all part of it.
Yep.
They found out that people will go for what they, yeah, through fear they will, but then again, they're losing now because they're being exposed and
Right.
people are waking up, so I'm very upbeat about what we're going to see in the next 3 4 years.
I am too. So
Good.
we got to talk again when the record comes out. I'm really
Yeah.
can't wait to hear. And I'm going to be interviewing John French again
Good.
the end of June. We didn't get into a lot of the his playing after the Beefheart days, so
Hmm.
I really want to hear his story. He's a fantastic drummer.
Yeah, John is great. He and
And,
I played together forever. We loved it. We were really
and
fun.
and everybody gets along now. There's no hard feelings after all that.
There never was hard
Oh,
feelings between
good.
us.
That's
We
great.
were always good friends. Like I said, before the Trout Mask lineup, which was us, we were blues in a bottle, and none of us ever had an argument, ever. We were just good friends doing what we loved to do. And even though the Trout Mask days were very intense emotionally and traumatic, we weren't really ever angry at one another.
Oh,
It
that's
was
great to hear.
it was the fear, as
There you
Don said
go.
in one of the songs, the fear in her windows.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll get you.
That crazy psychopath, right? Mr.
Yeah.
Valent there, man.
Yep.
I'm
Well,
reading. Well, I'll let you go
yeah.
here. And it's been a pleasure, Jeff. And I'll put all the links up again. And thank you for doing this again. You have a really good record. Everybody, please pick it up. Here it is. And Jeff, I want to thank you for sending it. I talk to people, oh, I'll send you something. I'll get you something in the mail. Nothing ever happens. And direct
Right.
from Hawaii, you send me a copy and you
Hey,
sign it.
my great pleasure. Now I want we had briefly talked about this. I have a whole stock of these albums. I would
Okay.
love to pass them along, sell them. I mean, if they want to buy them online, fine. Or if they want to buy them for me, I'll autograph them.
Oh, that'd be
Um,
great.
yeah, and there is 100. I have to go down and look at my stock. We
All
had
right.
100 of them pressed, and they have a big poster, excuse me, inside of them as well, included.
And how much are they directly from you? What's
To
the
be honest
cost?
with you, I haven't even thought about it, but it'll be uh, probably less expensive. I want it to be less expensive than they are online. And the prices were really good because this is a double album.
It is. It is.
It's a double album.
And you really pressed it really well. I mean, the pressing is really first class. And I think that a lot of Beefheart fans are out there. And so I'm sure they would love a signed copy. So
I will get that information to you.
Please.
The thing I need to work out is shipping, because shipping prices have gone through the roof.
It's insane.
It is insane.
I shipped a CD to England about a month ago. It was like almost $30.
Oh, I think to get the album to you, it was 18.
Phew. Man.
There's got to be a better way.
I don't know. There has to be.
Know.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Everything is so inflated. It's crazy.
It is.
So send that.
I'll get information to you on that, because I would love to connect directly with your audience and get them an album.
Absolutely. And I'll put it in the description here. Please get it here, signed copy. And I'm a testament. I have one of your copies, and it sounds great.
Thank you so much for this interview, my friend. It's
anytime.
been really enjoyable.
Please keep in touch. And
I will.
We'll do it again sometime.
Aloha.
Aloha to you. Take care.